guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this channel is all about my journey throughout CRNA school. Today's video is going to be on personal statements and how to structure them. If you're interested, let's get into the nitty-gritty. I'm no expert on writing personal statements. I have written a few in my lifetime, so I feel like I have maybe some grounds to talk about what did and didn't work for me in terms of writing personal statements and like how I felt that it was the best way to structure it. I applied to dental school back in 2012. I wrote one then, and also I've been applying to CRNA school for the last 2 years, and I also applied to do a master's in biology when I wanted to boost my GPA because I was having no luck. So I've written one several times. So this is what I feel helped me and like gave me structure, because sometimes personal statements can feel almost like a narrative of your life. And it's true to some extent, but you have to have some sort of structure and guidance in terms of what you need to get out of it. Well, what I will say about narratives, because it is still technically a narrative, I would try your best to be a really good storyteller, because your resume, it kind of gives them an idea of your life until this point, you know, chronologically. You did your bachelor's, you know, you did your experience, you have volunteer hours, whatever, you know, your resume looks like. I recommend that you kind of try to make it in a narrative form, like where you started, why you chose a particular career. Let's say we're talking about nursing, so CRNA in general. So why CRNA, why nursing, what's your why? You know, kind of give a little background as to why you chose this career, you know, like what you want to do with your future. A lot of times the school in general will give you structure on how they want you to write your personal statement. Some of them want like a 5-page APA style, 3 references, whatever it is, peer reviewed. But you know, if they've given you kind of like just make a 3-page paper, a 5-page paper, really try your best to be the best storyteller you can possibly be, and give them a background of who you are. You know, when they ask you in an interview, like, tell me about yourself, that's kind of how you start your personal statement. You know, it's not like you talk about your favorite food is mac and cheese and you really can't stand onions. It's more like, you know, what got you to this point? What obstacles did you face in the process? What adversities did you overcome? How did you overcome them? You know, let's say you were in a major traumatic accident and you were told that you would never walk again, and that motivated you to become a physical therapist or whatever it is, and now you're walking. I don't know what your cases are, but really try your best to emphasize who you are, because this is the time that they're gonna read about you, because it's not like they're just gonna go resume by resume and just pick and choose candidates. The personal statement is what makes you, and it could make or break your application. So what you want to do is make sure that you emphasize who you are, what your strengths are. Obviously you don't talk about weaknesses, but you could talk about things that have happened to you and how you've overcome them. Always leave it on a positive note. Make sure that it's something that's easy to read. You know, if it's something that's choppy or lacks grammar or structure, you know, that's going to be something that maybe at a certain point while they're reading, they're going to say, this person can't even structure a paper, so they're never going to make it, and just throw out your personal statement, throw out your application, and send you a rejection. So really focus on your grammar. If you don't have somebody who can review it for you, I know there are some like websites that you can use. Some of them are free. I've heard a lot about Grammarly. I've never used it, so I can't really talk about it too much, but I've noticed when I type on Google Docs, it does actually edit or give me an idea, like a recommendation on how to fix a sentence. So you can actually try that within Google Docs. There is some sort of feature that helps to fix grammar, because it's not just spell check. I think that's what, like Word, Microsoft Word, I think they have more of spell check. but I don't know if they have like grammar. They might. Actually, they might. I think I might have seen it in some tools. But anyway, try anything that you can to make sure that your sentences are structured properly. There's no run-ons, no contractions. Like the basics in terms of grammar, make sure that you're on your best behavior when it comes to that. Now, if the paper is, if they tell you for your personal statement, they want you to, I had seen some schools that they wanted you to understand what the CRNA role is, and they wanted you to use several references, then do that. Look up peer-reviewed journals, use CINAHL or some other databases to get peer-reviewed journals, and make sure they're relevant within the last 5 to 10 years, and try to look up whatever it is they want you to research. So if they want to research what the role of the CRNA is, look it up. Look up the changes that are occurring in the field, anything that interests you and that you want to further look into, because you will be doing a doctoral thesis at some point. So if you start kind of getting an idea of it in the beginning because you're doing your research for your personal statement, that might help you in your interview, because some of the schools actually want to know that you've been working on something for a capstone project. Some people, I have heard that they do interview and ask that. But I mean, like my school, I asked them afterwards if they wanted to know like what my ideas were for a capstone, and they pretty much said like, you really haven't had enough information in the field of anesthesia to start even considering a topic, so we're not going to ask that in an interview of you if you haven't been taught that, you know what I mean? And I thought that was pretty fair, to be honest with you. But start doing your research early, start learning how to do research papers again if you haven't done them in a while. And if they tell you that they want it in a certain format like APA or MLA or AMA, definitely make sure that you do it in that structure form that they've asked. What I use for my structuring of papers based on like APA or AMA, I use a website called easybib.com, and they actually help make your references. I don't think I've used the word bibliography in a long time, but like you can literally type in the search bar the name of the article, and it actually finds it for you, and it makes the citation based on which structure form you need. Like lately I've been writing a lot in AMA, and it does it for me like really easily, and I don't even have to do anything for it, like for textbooks or journals or anything like that. I've been using EasyBib like nobody's business, so I recommend it highly if you want to use that as your to make your reference page, because you'll probably need a title page, the body of the information, and then a reference page depending on how they want you to structure your personal statement. Now, as far as like the paragraphs and all that, I'm not very good with that. But my biggest recommendation is to start at the beginning of your resume, or like kind of like use what's going on in your life at the time of the beginning of your resume. So like, I'm pretty sure at this point you shouldn't be including high school as your education, because you've already surpassed that by many years. But if you want to start with high school, you can. I think I did start at high school because I mentioned that nursing wasn't my first choice, because I had another bachelor's degree with a minor and all that. So it was my way of explaining why I have 2 bachelor's degrees and what led me to this point. So at the beginning of my personal statement, I structured it as like, at a young age, I wasn't aware of what I wanted to do with my life. I knew I wanted to do a career in the health sciences, and I chose this career, not entirely happy with it. I did need to explain in my first bachelor's degree why I did poorly on my GPA. I used my personal statement as my explanation. Like, let me get to the bottom of this, like why I have, failing grades in my undergraduate degree, because this and this and this were happening to me in the background. So, if you do have any issues going on in your application, really use your personal statement to give them insight as to why that is that way that it is, because they want to know that you're a valuable candidate. And obviously things happen in our lives that sometimes are outside of our control. And like, let's say, right out of high school, you know, you weren't really in the mental capacity to handle college level courses, and that's okay. You know, sometimes you develop emotional intelligence throughout your life, and you can use your personal statement to talk about the development that you've done as a person and how you've changed and how you're willing to prove yourself if given the opportunity in their program. Always try to like highlight your best self, even if it's something in a negative light. So like all the kind of examples that I've mentioned, you know, let's say you became the sole breadwinner in your family and you were also working full-time while doing your undergraduate, you know, explain that and really use your personal statement to explain who you are and how you got to this point. I feel like I've done a lot of like reiterating, like explaining who you are, because your personal statement is literally gonna make or break you. I had a friend that he applied to medical school several times and he was having no success. He changed his personal statement and then he got, you know, acceptances in many other locations. So I do feel like there is a lot of weight on the personal statement. So really take your time with it. Don't rush it. You know, if it's on your checklist of things to do in order to have your application ready to go, just take your time with it. You know, pause on that step for a while, because you really need to understand why you want to do this, and, you know, like really look back at your past and things that have happened to you that you can use as like advantages. You know, let's say you were on the dean's list every semester, like highlight that, you know, talk about how you love school or I don't know, like really just explain who you are, how you got to this point, but in a chronological form that's going through your resume, because sometimes resumes get overlooked. Oh, okay, like everyone has the same credentials, the same background, so it kind of could be overlooked, but definitely use your personal statement as a narrative to tell your story and be the best storyteller you can be. Well, that's it for this video, guys. I'm sorry there wasn't true structure that I may have led you to believe, but I don't feel like I'm the best paper writer, so I don't want to tell you how to structure your sentences and how to structure your paragraphs. I feel like that will come with time, but I don't feel like I'm the person to do that. I just wanted to give you ideas on where to start and how to get through your personal statement, but definitely don't leave it for the last minute. Really take your time with it and just be honest and be raw, but also make sure that it ends on a positive light. But anyways, sorry, that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.